Hello and welcome back to the channel. This video is a follow-up to my previous video on shin splints and the recovery process that I'm going through in order to get over shin splints. And this video is particularly about stretching and mobility. So this has really helped me, certainly in the early stages when I couldn't go running and it was even painful to walk. I started stretching and doing some mobility exercises that were suggested to me. And it's made a huge difference, which has then allowed me to slowly introduce running again. Now, to many of you, this is probably basic stuff, but honestly, for me, I wasn't doing any of it. I was just going running and coming back. And now I'm well aware of what impact that's had on me, but the benefits that it brings to not only recovering, but implementing in part of your training. This is what I do. So I try and do these at the beginning of every run, and if I've got time on my rest days I do it as well. But it starts off with basic hamstring stretch, keeping my legs straight and leaning into the stretch slightly and holding that for 30 seconds. A slight variation is bringing one leg in and resting against your inner leg. That not only stretches the hamstring on this side, but it also allows your hip flexor to get a stretch as well. While I'm on the ground, I also like to stretch out this shin muscle here, which for me gets really tight. So what I do is sit, and I sit slowly back on my legs like this, and it stretches out the ankle, but also the shin bone here. The more you sit up, the greater the stretch, and the more you lean back, the greater the stretch along the front of your lower leg. Moving to a standing position, legs shoulder width apart, keeping the legs straight, just leaning down and stretching out the hamstrings at the back as well. Moving on to the quads at the front, just bringing one leg up and trying to stay that, make sure that the knee is back. The further back you put your leg, the greater the stretch. Next we move on to the calf muscle, and that means a straight leg at the back and just lean gently forward. Once I've done that for 30 seconds, I'll drop my knee slightly. And then you can really feel it along the front lower leg, shin bone, but also in the calf a bit deeper. Moving on to mobility now, there's three main exercises that I do, and it's mainly just to loosen up the hips and get the legs moving a little bit before I start exercise. So the first one is, I guess, called opening the gate, and is quite familiar with runners. All it involves is starting with one leg forward, one leg back, and then lifting up and rotating out. The next one, you start in the same stance, but you're keeping your legs straight this time. And you're just going to be doing a straight leg swing. Now when I first started doing this, my leg would just come to here. That's as high as it would go. But with stretching and continuing this mobility, I'm quite impressed with how far I can get my leg. Okay, so the final one is similar to that final straight leg swing, but it's with a bent knee, and it goes like this. And it gives a greater range of motion in the hip here, so you're allowing your leg to go a bit higher. And finally, one more that I do is I try and sit in this sort of position, hunched down, with flat feet on the ground. Some people find this easier, some people don't. I do find this position quite easy. And then I put my arms on the inside and I just press out. After 30 seconds, I start rocking slightly. And what that does for me is on the outside of my legs here, it really stretches it. I can feel the muscle is tight in there. And so it just gently warms that muscle up and complements the other stretches that I do. So like I said at the beginning, it's very basic, very straightforward, but for me it's made a huge difference. And I try and do that 3 times a week, and in each session I try and do 3 rounds. I try and hold the stretches for at least 30 seconds, and for the mobility exercises I try and do something between 15 and 20 repetitions. I'm seeing good benefit from doing these exercises, and I try and do this before each run as well. So those stretching and mobility exercises complement the strength and conditioning which I'm also doing. And those exercises generally involve just one single kettlebell, but that will be included in another video. So if you currently don't do any stretching or mobility like myself, try out those simple basic exercises. It doesn't take long to do at all, and start with once or twice a week and build up to 3 times a week. If you can do it before each run, even better, but I am seeing huge benefits, so all I can do is communicate my trust in what these exercises are doing, and I'm not going to be neglecting them in the future. So best of luck, hope you stay injury free. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.